Welcome, everybody, to the Fanfiction Power Hour. I am one half of your hosts, Wizzy Puff, and joining me, as always, is your other host.
Hey, I'm Ross. Did you just call it the Fanfiction Power Hour? That's it?
I did. I forgot about Ross and Wizzy. Well, we were introducing ourselves, so, you know. If I introduced it as that, then there would be no point of introducing the hosts.
All right, I guess so. I only did that for, what, 100 episodes? Yeah, pointless. Yeah, sure.
Is post hoc rationalization, Ross. You have to learn about these things.
Cool. So anyways, I've been a busy week for me, Wizzy. Thank you for asking.
This time Ross is busy, and it's not Wizzy who's busy. I don't know what that means. I just wanted it to rhyme.
I went to Disney World. We had to pick up my sister because she was doing the Disney College program, which was one of the leading causes of this podcast going to shit. Remember that one time? Yeah, I remember that one time.
This time it wasn't you. It was your sister.
I think we could have done it while I was there. It just would have been very difficult, maybe every 2 weeks an episode instead. But It was a blast. And for those listening, for the past few weeks or so, I've been standing up on recordings so that we don't get any of my chair noises and stuff like that. But something happened while I was on vacation, and now my right foot is in pain.
Ow.
So much pain. And I swear to God, it wasn't because of how much I was walking. I think I just pulled something or something. Might have started on the episode we did before I left.
Oh.
Which was last episode.
You had to deal with that during the whole trip?
Yep.
Jeez.
It wavered in pain, but it taught me a lesson. The best places to go if you have foot pain in your arch at Disney World are actually the Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, because that day my foot was doing a lot better. Just because, flatter ground, not as much walking, not freakishly huge.
Yeah. I think you missed an opportunity, though. You could have gone there in a wheelchair and then gone to use the express lanes.
We tried that.
You tried that?
No.
Aw.
I did suggest it, though. But I would have felt really bad. Because one time when I suggested it, I looked over and there was this little girl without a leg. And I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Okay, but, if you really think about it, you're not hurting anyone, right? Unless, I
don't know how many of those wheelchairs that they have for renting.
Oh, I was just thinking bringing your own, but
I don't have one.
Yeah, but you could get one. It would be good to have a wheelchair on hand in case you need it, right?
Sure, we should all have our own pocket wheelchairs.
This is true. They always got them at Goodwill's,
Sure.
This is all worth it for the express lane at Disneyland, Ross.
The funny thing about that, though, actually, is that we had a DAS pass, which is basically a lightning lane, which is a fast pass. I don't know if you know what that is, Mr. Not Theme Park Nerd.
I always get recommended the Defunct Land video about fast passes, but I haven't watched it yet.
Really?
I've been meaning to, but...
Not that you haven't watched it, but that's the one that you get recommended?
Yeah, it keeps coming up in my recommended as their Disneyland Fast Pass video.
That's strange. That's not usually the Defunct Land that I get recommended, but oh well.
I think if I watch it, then they'll start recommending me a bunch more, but they just want me to start watching it, and I have not watched it yet.
Defunct Land is pretty good, though, I gotta say.
That's what I heard.
If you want to get into theme park lore and stuff like that, but maybe you shouldn't, because we also might get into that podcast idea that I have that I think will really work.
And this one
where
just
I
turns
just
into
gush
that.
about theme parks, specifically Disney theme park lore. You're supposed to be the host, and I stole everything. I can't help it.
We're co-hosts. Plus, I don't have any stories to tell.
Yeah, that's true. Perhaps that's why I've always been the host, but I don't like that idea anymore. So we're not going to do that. You're going to be the host now. Be the host, sir.
Okay, I will be the host. Today we will be reading... This episode of Bluey is called Beetlemoose by Naval Colt.
Bluey! Oh my god, I love Bluey. I watched Bluey last year and fell in love.
I feel like out of all the crossover fics we can do, Bluey would definitely be one that the fan base would have a lot of crossover with. No pun intended.
Perhaps. I'm personally very hyped for this. I've wanted some Bluey for a long time. Great show. Highly recommend everybody watch it. And I'm sure that Wizzy has so many things he loves about it.
I do like the aesthetic.
I think Wizzy has actually technically seen more Bluey than My Little Pony.
Oh, I had to have at this point. We've gone through that one live stream of just like random Bluey clips and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And if you're all wondering, yes, Bandit is the best dad. So we should get into this fan fiction that's a crossover, and it might be the first crossover we've actually read.
All right. Chapter 1. Did you get all that, Bartleby? There's a whole introduction to Bluey page, but, I feel like I will let Ross introduce me to Bluey more than this. Plus, how much I've already watched of Bluey.
I should also mention, it says Bartleby, but it's spelled wrong, apparently. According to the Bluey wiki, it's Bartlebee.
Oh.
So there are 2 E's at the end there.
I bet that's what the captions say.
But this spells it B-Y. So ain't that some shit? Shucks, that crap. Cut all the swears from this episode or bleep them or whatever.
It's the Bluey episode, no swearing.
All finished,
Bluey announced, proudly placing her paws on her hips.
Bingo, come look.
I can't. Bartleby isn't in his fancy vest yet. Bluey shook her head.
Oh, that Bartleby.
She ran around an assemblage of blankets, sofa cushions, and chairs.
Pip, pip, cheerio.
Classic Bluey. British as ever.
Oi, governor. Get off me land. Wait, that actually did start to go into Australian.
Poor Bluey. Bluey's voice actor. Getting done so dirty like this.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, Bluey's voice actor is... we don't know who the Bluey voice actress is. Or Bingo, or any of the kids.
I think that's a pretty good idea, just from how things go when child stars get so weirdly iconized.
Iconicized, but whatever.
That works. She ran around an assemblage of blankets, sofa cushions, and chairs to find her sister still struggling to tape a construction paper tuxedo onto a lifelike dog doll.
Bartleby, you're gonna be late for your first day of work.
Bluey scolded.
We can't have this. You put on that vest this instant, young man.
Got it, Bingo said at last. Her tail wagged as she stood up. Okay, I can come look now. Giggling, the girls ran back around to the front of the fort with a flailing Bartleby in tow. Before them, peaks and valleys of blankets rose and fell atop imprints of furniture. At the base of it all was an entrance to the dark undertow, marked by a flap in the blanket.
Okay, Bingo. Let me see Bartleby now.
Okay. Bluey took the doll. She cleared her throat and with a posh stride made her way towards a tiny plastic chair stationed just outside the fort's entrance. She gave Bartleby a stern look.
Now listen closely, young man,
Bluey said in a low, gruff voice.
My brother and I are going to explore this magic cave this afternoon. I need you to stay here and make sure no one else comes and tries to steal all the cave's treasures while we're in there.
Brother? Who's the brother?
Perhaps they're playing characters.
That makes sense. She placed the doll in the chair. He slumped over at once, his head hitting the back of it with an audible thud. The girls giggled again.
Keep a special lookout for any big blue guys.
Bluey went on, sitting the doll up again.
They're always up to no good.
But Bluey, what if Mum comes by with snacks for the explorers? Bluey stroked her chin.
Good point, Bingo.
Oh, I'm Leo now.
Right, good point, Leo. Did you get all that, Bartleby?
The doll was silent.
Good,
said Bluey. She turned to Bingo, who'd already put on a red scarf and hat with a white pom-pom. Bluey nodded and put on one of her own.
Righto, Leo. Safety first when exploring magic caves. Now let's go get that treasure.
I really like how fitting your Steve Irwin type voice is compared to Bluey's normal voice for this specific instance.
I think I started out not doing a Steve Irwin type voice, and then,
It sounded more British at first, but I think it sounds more Australian right now.
I think that's the problem. I think I really did want to try and do an Australian accent. That's the only one I can do, I guess, so... years of practice doing the Steve Irwin type accent because of the character Cody Rogers.
Yeah. Shouting in glee, the girls ducked inside the cave entrance and disappeared. Bluey, I can't see anything in here. It's too dark.
I'm not Bluey. I'm your brother, Lucas.
Oh, right. Lucas, I can't see anything in here. It's too dark. Bluey paused.
Quite right, Leo. Let's have a look-see with our biscuits.
What is it?
I do believe I've lost me torchy light somewhere around here.
Torchy light, said Bluey in her posh, gruff voice. She began to feel around on the floor. What's a torchy light?
It's fancy talk for flashlights.
Hey, they don't call them that in Australia.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hold on one second, let me see here.
I know they call them torches in Britain, so I assume they call them that in Australia as well, just because so many other words.
I think half of Australia calls it soccer instead of football, so...
Is that right?
Maybe.
Didn't know that.
That's what I've heard from the grapevine. Yeah, they say torches, apparently.
Okay. Then I guess this is inaccurate to Bluey's home of origin.
Frankly, how dare you, Mr. Naval? It's fancy talk for torches. It's what torture mice chase. That's what Frisky calls them, remember?
Oh, yeah! But, how will we ever find the treasure without our torchy light? Bluey looked up again suddenly. A light beckoned from the far side of the cave. It was small and jagged, like a tear in the fabric, and so bright that it illuminated the scarlet blanket canopy above it. The longer Bluey stared at it, the more her ears seemed to play tricks on her.
Was that always over there?
Was what always over where?
That hole over there. And do you hear birdies too, Leo?
Huh? What birdies? Bats live in caves, not birdies.
Oh, never mind. It looks like the big blue guy who made this cave wasn't very careful. I think it opens back out over that way. Come on, we'll race ya.
Okay. The girls took off into the dark, beelining for the far, dim light. Transfixed by the promise of fun and adventure, they weren't the least bit shocked to see trails of grass reaching into the cave, growing through cracks in the floor.
Bingo, stop.
I'm Leo!
Leo, stop.
They stopped by the cave exit, a large gash in a stone wall. A sprawling mountaintop opened up before them, bathed in sunlight and covered in foliage. But it wasn't the flora that caught the girls' attention. Bug-like creatures of various colors flew around overhead on iridescent wings, perching on moss-covered walls and chasing their friends through the air with twists and spins. The girls made themselves known within moments, gasps giving way to shouts. Big fairies! Oh man, Bingo's getting homophobic over here!
Oh no!
Bingo screeched. She dashed from the breach in the wall and clasped the leg of the nearest fairy. It winced in surprise.
There are so many of you.
Bluey marveled. Running over to her sister, she promptly demanded the gaze of her new best friend.
And what might your name be, Big Fairy? Carnicle?
Said the big fairy. He lifted his hoof and watched the other young dog slide down it.
Who are you? And where did you come from just now? From that big hole in the wall over there,
Bluey said, nodding backwards.
I'm Lucas, and this is my brother, Leo. We're exploring a magical cave we found. Have you guys seen any treasure around here?
The fairies exchanged looks and began to chatter among themselves. When one of them flexed its gossamer wings, Bingo screeched again and chased him from his spot. "Beetle fairies in the light, oh so fast and oh so bright," she sang, skipping along after him. "You're all so pretty. I didn't know beetles could have so many colors."
Such childish behaviors,
Bluey mused. She gently grasped Cornicle's tail and scrutinized the veins flowing through it.
Yes, quite right. Quite a specimen, this one. What is happening?
Cornicle whispered to his neighboring fairy friend. She snickered. "Let's take them to Thorax." "Is that a moose?" The voice crack alone was enough to put the entire room in stitches. Bluey and her sister ran up to the biggest fairy of them all, sitting on a throne made of wood. "Mr. Biggest Fairy, is this your house?" Bingo asked. "It's all ours," said the biggest fairy. Stepping off of his oak throne, he knelt down to meet his guests properly. "My name is Thorax. What are your names?"
Woo! Thorax! Woo!
Yeah!
Finally
I've been waiting for this guy.
It is wild how we have not gotten a Thorax cameo, as far as I know.
Yeah. Even in, the 6 character stories and stuff.
Yeah.
They got all the weirdos.
Best is he might have gotten, a mention in, whatever that one thing is called. Panatrophia?
Yeah.
But even then, he might not have. I don't know. I'm just guessing because it had all those character names.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely got killed off screen, that's for sure. So,
yeah.
Dishonorable mention. "I'm Bingo," said Bingo.
"No, you're not,"
accused Bluey. "All right," said Bingo. She looked at Thorax apologetically. "Sorry, I'm Leo right now, actually." Thorax beamed. "Well, it's nice to meet you, Leo. And what's your friend's name?"
"I'm Lucas,"
said Bluey. See, this is actually a really good idea, because if they go back into their world and after causing trouble here, the ponies won't be able to track them based on their names. They're using code names.
Ah, clever.
This is the mistake that we made when doing the Halloween fic, and the ponies got to track us.
Oh, shit. Actually, we do use fake names.
Oh, that's very true.
Though they don't know that.
Yeah, they really believe I'm Wizzy.
"But her real name is Bluey,"
Bingo whispered.
God damn it, Bingo.
Bluey sighed, then shook her head.
Honestly, I don't know where he gets all these crazy ideas from. What even is a Bluey?
See how easy it is for these dogs to just change pronouns for each other? Why can't people be more like Bluey and Bingo?
Because.
Aw.
People are stupid.
Burn!
Be more like these children.
Seriously, the kids are so much better at dealing with issues involving bigotry than adults are. It's crazy.
Kids will go with anything. They're such sweethearts.
Yeah.
When they're not psychopaths.
True.
You know who you are.
You're referring to the child from The Ring who comes out of the TV.
Sure.
Back to these good children.
Right. What even is a Bluey?
Bingo giggled, and the fairies all around the room smiled.
We're sisters. I mean brothers,"
Bingo added. She wagged her tail.
"And we're looking for treasure."
"For treasure?" Thorax repeated, chuckling. "What kind of treasure?"
I really like your Thorax voice.
I'm trying to make it accurate to Thorax.
We don't know,"
Bluey said, shrugging.
"We thought it would be in that cave, but then we came out here instead."
Thorax stood up again. "Well, I'm not aware of any treasure, but you're welcome to stay a while. Do you have any guardians here with you?"
"What's a guardian?"
asked Bingo.
He means our parents, Leo.
Bluey said. She looked at Thorax.
"They're on the other side of the cave, but we can stay a while. Can you show us what sorts of things fairies do for fun?"
Bingo gasped.
"Oh, yes. What do fairies do for fun?"
Thorax grinned.
Eat children.
No! Bingo! There was a sinister grin.
"Yeah, the dragon's already here. The dragon's already here, Bahari. Run."
"But I haven't finished healing my Wolfie yet."
"Do it later."
Bluey yelled. stepping before a fairy wearing a crafted dragon costume. She waved a cardboard sword at him threateningly.
I'll hold off the dragon. Vampire dragon,
came a fairy from the audience. Bluey looked at him with bewilderment.
He's a dragon and a vampire?
The fairy nodded. Bluey looked back at the costumed fairy, then to Bingo.
Bahori, there's been a change of plans.
Yes?
Save room in your cart for me too, please.
Bluey fled to the far side of the stage with a shout, dropping her sword in the process. Chittering filled the audience.
Off we go then,
Bingo said merrily. She draped a stuffed blue wolf over her shoulder and sat on the stage, facing away from the approaching dragon.
Don't worry, Wolfie. We'll make you feel all better in no time.
You'll face the wrath of the healer order some other day, dragon.
Bluey cried, shaking a fist. She and her sister scooted along the stage until they were behind the curtain and out of sight. Murmuring infested the crowd.
Is this in the script?
No, but let them cook. I have a feeling this isn't over yet.
The room grew quiet. The fairy in the dragon costume stood alone on the stage, looking forlorn. Rar? He was subsequently tackled by Bluey and Bingo from out of the curtain behind him. Swing dancing can be pretty energetic and has a lot of quick movements, so I think you both might like it. Thorax turned to watch a pair of drones demonstrate a few steps and turns. He looked to the girls, watching as well. Their tails wagged in offset sync.
Can you spin your partner until they get dizzy?
Bluey asked. Well, sure, though that wouldn't be a very nice thing to do.
What about if you both spin until you're dizzy? Then you'll be equally dizzy.
It's really less about the spinning and more about
Maximum dizzy!
Bingo shouted, thrusting up her fists. Thorax raised a mildly concerned brow. You guys are just gonna spin, aren't you? Bluey giggled. She looked at her sister and cleared her throat, adopting a regal tone.
May I have this swing dance, Sir Figglepot?
Bingo giggled as well.
Yes, you may.
Bingo took her sister's paw and together they spun. Their giggling spurred smiles from all around.
Are we swinging well enough?
Bluey called out, tilting her head back to spot Thorax as she spun. He grimaced. Well, you...
Faster,
shouted an orange fairy with a folded ear. Thorax glared at him.
Roger that.
Bluey yelled.
Sir Figglepot, you call this swing dancing? I've seen better swings on a playground.
Bingo gasped.
I'll show you swings.
Bingo leaned back on her heels, angular momentum speeding her up. Her confidence lasted only moments. Her heels slipped and she slid underneath her sister, knocking them both over in a heap. The room laughed with them.
Ha, 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 ha.
I'm going to make a big pot for all the fairies to hide in when they get scared,
said Bingo, diligently patting down a molded lump of clay.
And it will have all sorts of pictures so that they can spot it from very, very far away.
Oh, such a grand idea, Leo,
said Bluey, molding a dome out of her own pile of clay.
What do you think, biggest fairy?
I think it's a very thoughtful idea, Thorax said.
Love how they just haven't corrected them.
It's a lot funnier if they keep saying fairies, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you never correct a child when they mispronounce something in a funny way. It's cute.
This is what I was thinking. It's just very cute. Which is what I love about Bluey. It's just a cute show.
Yeah. Thorax said, smiling. He glanced around the circle to the many other pottery projects being designed. It doesn't look like anything else is making a... Oh, anyling. I guess instead of any pony, because they're not ponies.
Oh, I get it.
It doesn't look like anything else is making a hideaway pot either. I bet we'll definitely use yours, Leo.
Hooray!
Bingo exclaimed. She gently pressed her paw into the pot wall and left a decorative paw print.
Might be a good place to keep dry when it rains, right, Thorax?
A fairy next to Bluey said with a chuckle. Thorax nodded.
Hang on. Fairies don't like the rain?
Bluey asked incredulously.
I have to show you the episode Rain.
Ooh.
It's such a good episode.
Is it about them learning about the rain?
It's about something like that, sure. I think you would love it.
I just remember the scene in Steven Universe where Peridot's learning about the rain, and I love that.
It's better than that.
Ooh.
Gonna have to remember to forcefully show you that after this.
Bluey asked incredulously. She planted her paws on her hips.
That's silly. Rain is one of the best things about being outside. You can dance and splash and build little walls for the rain to go around.
That is one of the best things about the rain.
Okay, so that is indeed a reference to the episode Rain.
Nice.
But Bluey, the fairies have buggy wings.
Bingo said sorrowfully. She glanced at a neighboring fairy who flexed hers for emphasis.
And buggy wings don't like to get wet, remember?
Yeah.
Bluey's ears folded.
I guess that makes sense. But what do fairies do when it rains and they can't go outside then?
Well, lots of things.
I suppose they
Thorax
could just,
said.
change into someone else who doesn't have problems with that.
That's very true. They could just get rid of their wings.
Yeah.
They are clay. Well, lots of things, Thorax said. We can do crafts, put on plays, play games, or take naps together. We take shelter in the lower parts of the hive where there's a ceiling, and it's always warm down there. Is that true? Is that canon?
Oh, that? Probably not.
It makes sense. It's what bugs would do.
Yeah. Aw, cute little bug families. Going to sleep while it rains is very nice.
Bluey acknowledged, having finished her dome. She gave it a pat and gently moved it aside.
Pet, pet. There you go, Dome. You're the best.
That is the best dome.
Do all fairies take naps together when it rains?
Most of them do.
But not me. I'm better than that.
He's the king, Thorax replied. He looked to a few of the other fairies. They grinned. We feel a lot better when we rest together, even when it doesn't rain. I guess you could call it fairy magic.
It's because the feeding off love thing.
They feed off their own love. It's so cute.
Yeah, that was like a whole thing, self-love.
That's like actually a really good way to live forever if you can just feed off of your own energy.
We'll figure it out someday.
Bluey and Bingo's eyes lit up.
What other types of fairy magic do you have? Hey, again. Okay. Miss Junebug, if you'd be so kind as to step over here now.
Appiday nodded and trotted into place.
And now, Mr. Droplet, if you could join her on the left.
Tibia also moved into place. He shot Appiday a bemused look.
Ah, yes, very good.
Bluey said with a nod. She wagged a stick around behind her back.
You're all such lovely fairies. Very colourful. But I think we need something different around here today, right, Leo?
Yes, this just won't do,
Bingo replied, crossing her arms.
We need more animals.
Of course, more animals. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any magic asparagus around here, but this magic stick should be just fine. Now, Miss Junebug, if you would please turn into a giraffe. Woo, giraffes. Love those things. Giraffes are my favorite animal.
Yeah. Too bad there's not a whole race of them in My Little Pony.
Unfortunate. They're like deer, where they should be like sentient creatures and talk to the ponies and stuff like that, but they're not.
They got hooves, they count.
I agree.
Put all the hooved animals together.
That's what the fans wanted. And what did Hasbro do? They screwed it over. You know who would never screw us over? Bluey.
True. Well, probably true.
God, please don't suck later seasons of Bluey.
God.
That would be tragic if Bluey just went through seasonal rot.
Yeah.
Giraffe.
Bluey pointed the stick at Appiday. She was gone in an instant and replaced by a giraffe. Bluey screeched in delight.
Let me do Mr. Droplet now, Bluey.
Bingo insisted. Bluey handed her the stick, and she danced on the tips of her paws.
Mr. Droplet, what's your favorite animal?
Tibia tapped his hoof with his chin.
Well, I think flamingos are cool, and I never usually have a reason to turn into one.
Flamingo!
Why don't you just turn into a flamingo? Like, I don't get it. Just do it.
He doesn't have a reason.
But you don't need a reason. You're a changeling.
He has the traditional values instilled in him from Chrysalis.
I guess she might have been annoyed if, like, they turned into a flamingo, I guess.
She thinks it's too silly.
Sure, why not?
Tibia became a flamingo. He honked, and Bingo shrieked along with her sister.
Honk.
That was a beautiful honk.
Thank you. I loved it.
Is Thorax talking, or?
No, it's not. It's not, I don't think. I think it's Pharynx, his brother.
What? He has a brother named Pharynx?
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole. He's
Dang.
all like, look, man, I'm on your side, but I preferred the old ways.
Man.
Pharynx is a douchebag, but I love him.
So, now we're running a nursery for other species young too?
Thorax reflexively smiled as another wave of giggling filled the room. The flamingo had begun to playfully peck and nibble at Bingo's ears. His face fell again when his brother's brow creased, demanding his attention.
Do you even know where they came from, Thorax?
Well, no, Thorax began. Pharynx rolled his eyes into orbit. But they're just children, Pharynx. They just want to play around and make friends.
Okay, so you know what? Here's a great way to describe Pharynx.
Ooh.
If there was a character in My Little Pony who was going to become the Punisher, I think it would be Pharynx. Now, they're not one-to-one, but I think that he would be the best person to become the Punisher.
Man, he sounds violent.
I seem to recall Chrysalis keeping company that matched that description pretty well. Nearly squeezed the continent dry of magic when nobody was looking.
Okay, but dude, they're literally children. If Chrysalis kept children as company, then that makes sense. She was running a country.
Depends on what we call country, but...
She was running a civilization.
Yes, I'll say that, yeah.
So of course she would have, like, kids kept around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
good for Chrysalis.
I don't think that's what he's referring to. I think he's referring to this season 9, where she and what's his name with the horns, and what's her name with the small inner child being. T-Rex and Cozy Glow, that's it.
Oh, that's a good point. That's another bad child.
Yeah. Wow, she's probably super racist.
True. She actually probably is.
Actually, I don't know. Against magic, yeah, I guess.
She probably would have a huge hierarchy system going on if she were in charge, just to keep people separated, you know?
She might actually be more, like, on the side of wanting people to be equal, but she's just kind of a psychopath. Children and being psychopaths, man.
Kind of like Kuvira.
Yeah. Huh.
God, I
Starlight
love
is more of mine, and Cozy Glow is Kuvira.
Oh god,
does
just
that make Discord?
Kuvira replaced with Cozy Glow in all the scenes that involve Kuvira. What does it make Discord?
Shoot, can't remember his name.
Zahir.
Yes, Zahir. What was his thing? I think it was Anarchy?
Yeah, it was actually.
So yes, I'm right.
He didn't want any forms of government because he thought everyone should be as free as they possibly could.
Hell yeah, let's go. Let's move on.
Other words, total chaos.
Although,
Discord.
I'm pretty sure Discord was like, he just wanted to have fun for himself, but we'll say yeah.
Yeah.
Discord is Zahir.
At least Zahir tried to make his reasoning sound unselfish.
So yeah, there are 3 of the Avatar Legend of Korra villains, and the less said about season 2, the better.
I was just rewatching that with Sammy the other day.
Season 2?
Like, you know,
yuck.
Season 2, the plot, I don't like it a lot, but the scenes are immaculate. They have some really cool fighting scenes in season 2.
That is true.
Thorax sighed. I wouldn't call that a very common occurrence.
So, still happened.
I think your protectiveness might be overreacting again, Pharynx.
Is it? Let's try looking at it from your perspective then. You said they have guardians nearby, didn't you? Do you really want to keep entertaining these children's whims to goof around when their guardians could be worriedly looking for them? That's what you would do, right?
That's a good point. Their parents are probably freaking out. I haven't heard Bluey screaming in, ages.
Chip,
Maybe
Cheerio.
we should check on them.
I think they're fine. That was rhetorical, by the way. The answer is, yes, Pharynx, I would, and I'd blubber to you about it the entire time. I enter panic mode if I haven't seen a particular changeling for more than a few hours.
That's adorable. Thorax shook his head. He wore a tired smile. It was almost easier to argue with you when you just rejected empathy outright. Pharynx smirked.
Tough break. We're changelings. We adapt. And you know what? It turns out using your own sap against you is both entertaining and effective.
The big fairy, look out. He's on a rampage.
Pharynx barely had occasion to turn around before a frantic, honking flamingo slammed into his face.
You know what? It was Bingo who was with the flamingo guy.
This works.
I'm sorry, biggest fairy. I didn't mean to get Mr. Droplet in trouble like that.
That's all right. He'll be fine. Pharynx is loud, but he's not mad. Not really. He was more startled than anything else.
How come he looks like you?
Bingo asked. He's my brother. Bingo's tail began to wag.
Is that why he's got big antlers on his head like you?
Thorax laughed. That's right. Pharynx helps me look after all the fairies here, since it's pretty hard to do it by myself.
He's way different from you, though.
Bluey said.
He seems a lot grumpier. How do you take care of all these fairies when you're so different?
Well, you and your brother don't always get along, do you? But I'm willing to bet that you still try. Pharynx can be grumpy sometimes, but he's very protective of us, and just wants us to stay safe. He shows his love in a different way than most of us. The trio rounded a corner and stepped through a doorway obscured by vines. The girls gasped.
This is the same room from before,
Bluey remarked. She eyed the familiar gash in the far wall, as well as half a dozen fairies.
Aw, does this mean we have to go home now?
Bingo whined. She placed a paw on the biggest fairy's leg.
We just got here.
Thorax fought against a quivering lip. I think it might be for the best, for the time being, he explained while kneeling down. I don't want your guardians to get worried about where you are. My brother is also a little spooked about how you guys got here, so I think we need to give him time to try and figure out what happened.
Yeah, it's for the best, Bingo,
Bluey said encouragingly, patting her sister's head.
It's about supper time anyway.
Bingo nodded through a few shallow sniffs.
My name is Leo when we're here, okay, Bluey?
Bluey's ears and eyes fell briefly. They softened again when she promptly hugged her sister tight.
Of course, Leo. That was my mistake.
Mr. Biggest Fairy, can we come back again after your brother isn't spooked anymore?
Bingo asked, hugging Thorax next. He returned it, easily embracing them both with one leg. Of course you can, and you'll have something to remember us by in the meantime. I think I found pieces of that treasure you mentioned, while you guys were turning Tibia into a flamingo.
For real life?
Bluey exclaimed. Thorax nodded, and with a flare of teal magic, levitated 3 almond-sized seeds out for the girls to see. They were grass-green with a curling pink pattern along the length of their shells. Bluey clasped her mouth in her paws, enthralled. Even Bingo's attention was harnessed, her tears already forgotten. These are seeds for the ambrosia lily, also called the immortal lily, Thorax said. They don't pollinate very often because they don't need to. Unless they're stepped on or hurt by something, they'll live forever. They're magic flowers. Thorax dispelled his magic, and the seeds gently fell into Bluey's awaiting paw. I'm not sure if they'll bloom where you come from, but I want you to have them. If they bloom, you'll have a bit of fairy magic in your home. And if they don't bloom, bring them back here the next time you visit, and we can plant them together. How does that sound?
It's the greatest treasure the explorers ever saw.
Bingo whimpered, sniffling again. This time, she was smiling.
I'll make another pot to keep them safe, too. Thank you, biggest fairy.
We'll make sure they bloom no matter what.
Bluey proclaimed, gently closing her fist around the seeds and punching the air.
Thank you so much, biggest fairy. I can't wait to see you all again soon.
After another round of hugs and goodbyes, the sisters made their way back through the gash in the wall, where they waved a final farewell to the fairies before venturing into the depths of the cave.
Bluey?
My name is Lucas, silly.
No, Bluey. I want to be Bluey and Bingo again.
Oh, okay, sure. Yes, Bingo?
Bingo paused. She glanced back to the far edge of the cave, where only the scarlet blanket wall now sat.
Do you think we'll really get to see the fairies again?
Bluey looked back as well. She then looked to her paw, still filled with seeds, and to the bright light up ahead of them. She smiled.
We definitely will. After all, we still need to show them the kinds of games the explorers play. And we can't have these seeds staying here forever. They'll get homesick.
Bingo nodded and smiled as well. Only then did the girl's ears perk to a familiar set of voices, echoing from beyond the mouth of the cave.
Bluey, Bingo, are you still in there? Come out, girls. Supper's getting cold and I can't hold off your father forever.
I wonder who left these perfectly good meat pies lying around. Oh, what's that, Bartleby? Some cave explorers left them just for me. Well, how nice of them. Guess I'll just help myself then.
The girls shrieked in unison, and with renewed resolve they bolted for the front of the cave and the familiar light of home. Author's note. Aw, it's a cute Bingo Bluey gif.
Yeah!
This is the very first Bluey crossover on the site, thanks to the staff for creating the series tag on request. As I've mentioned in my off-site blog before, Bluey encapsulates the themes that my creative thrives on. Even more than friendship is magic, this crossover was always inevitable. Now, who wants to tell Bingo all she has to do to see Thorax again to shout Beetlemoose, Beetlemoose, Beetlemoose?
Very funny.
That was... This episode of Bluey is called Beetlemoose by Naval Colt.
This episode of Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour is called... This episode of Bluey is called Beetlemoose. Gosh, that was cute. That was nice and cute. I liked it.
Oh yeah, this was definitely more unique than a lot of the fics we've read. It gave me vibes of like The Most Annoying Infestation and Dat Hive Mind.
Yeah.
Just like the like they did the same thing in Dat Hive Mind where it would cut across the scenes real quick like that.
Definitely. It's just one of those like kids stories where the kids travel to another dimension for a bit before going back. Classic, like where the wild things are sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which is immediately what I thought of.
That makes sense.
I'll be honest, I was expecting it to be more of a Thorax going through his day, and then they come in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Instead, we got the opposite, which I loved either way. But yeah, if there's ever a sequel, hope that's what happens.
Oh man, a sequel to this where the dad gets stuck in the pony world.
Oh no. Do we think it happened? Or was it just in the children's imaginations?
I do like gaslighting children, but I have to say they had the seeds when they got out, so it had to have happened.
Crap, you're right.
Unless they just picked up random seeds.
Oh crap, you're right. Yeah, that's my thought. Well, who's to say? The magic of childhood. Watch Bridge to Terabithia, everybody. You'll get the same experience, definitely. Wizzy hasn't seen Bridge to Terabithia.
Remember that from way back in the day? Oh no, I'm thinking of
You're thinking of
Lion the Witch in
Narnia
the
or
Wardrobe.
some shit.
That's what I watched way back in the day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another one. Bridge to Terabithia. Anyway, very good stuff. Loved it. Loved all of it. Would read it again. And that's all I have to say about that. Very cute story. Yada yada.
This is insane. This is an hour and 40 minutes. What?
We went on a lot of tangents.
This was a 3,000 word story.
Oh man, this is going to be probably one of the shorter episodes, but
yeah,
just because our tangents were all too long. Perhaps someday you'll get
keep
all
a lot
of the tangents.
but I mean, there's a lot of them that were just for us, you know? All right, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed this story as much as we did. So as we leave tonight, I'll leave you with these words.
No, you stop. Bye, everybody. You should have all read the story, by the way, yourself. Dang it, Wizzy. You missed it again.
No! This is awful.
Give it a like.
Poor naval colt. What will their belly button do now?
Who knows?
Oh, well. See ya! Record.
Dope.
It's my recording song.
I'm getting into it, you know? Pretty good song. Hey, Wizzy.
Yeah?
I think I got a new idea for you.
Oh, no.
I think it'll make us millions.
The last time you were like this, we went bankrupt.
Hey, the last time I was like this, we went bankrupt because you didn't listen to me.
I backed out because it was failing. It was a sinking ship.
I had it under control, and you messed everything up.
Crypto Zoo was a failure from the get-go.
I don't even know what that actually is. I know it has something to do with crypto.
It's a Logan Paul scam.
That's it. Actually did know a bit more about that than I thought I did.